This is Leigh, and I'd like to say welcome to Alchemy Intuitive Arts. And if you're a new subscriber, thank you. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, well, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. And if you like my content, smash the like button. Today, I would like to talk to you a little bit about fear. Fear. This is something that many of you know a lot about, and fear and I go way, way back. I'm not going to tell you how far back because then you'll know how old I am, but if you're truly interested, I'm sure you can look it up and find out. Anyways, fear and I, we go way, way back. And fear for me started as a child when I was afraid of a caregiver who would take his belt out. And when I did something he disagreed with, he would take his belt out and give me a few swats, whether or not it was something that I had done or not. And so I learned about fear from a young age, and obviously that gave me a bit of trauma. I also learned about fear when I would hear my mother being upset in the other room over something that was happening. And let me get this chateau. See if I can deal with this shadow. I don't think I can. Anyways, I would deal with fear as a child quite a bit. And so fear became my old friend. And fear typically is coupled with trauma of some sort. Fear and trauma go hand in hand. You typically don't have one without the other. And as I got older, fear came in the package of being assaulted. In fact, I was assaulted at a very young age by a stranger, and to be honest, that has happened more than once in my life, and even on into adulthood. And I experienced fear at a young age, and then I experienced fear again as an adult. When I aligned myself with individuals who were not of the light and who wanted to harm me and wanted to take me off my path and created trauma in my life. And so consequently, I got PTSD, and I have CPTSD, which is childhood PTSD. Now, I'm not wearing that as a badge of honor in any way. I don't wish that on anyone, but I know there's lots of people out here that deal with this kind of trauma and this kind of fear. And when you have PTSD, it pops up in your life uninvited. It's not invited, and it just pops up. And it could be as simple as a song you hear. It could be as simple as a place you drive by, or a person you see, or something you see on TV, or whatever. It could be just about anything that could cause something like that. The light is so bright. Fear is something that we all need to learn to deal with. I'm going to tell you the best way that I've learned to deal with fear. And I've spent years in therapy, and I've, gone through the whole recommendations of how to deal with PTSD, etc. And I'm here to tell you some of that works and some of that just doesn't work. And dealing with fear is an inside job. It's you can medicate the hell out of yourself, but if you're not dealing with the problem from the inside, then you will continue to have it. And so this is my story about fear. And one day I was watching YouTube, and I came across a video, and it said that fear was the absence of God in your life, the absence of the divine, the absence of the Holy Spirit, Jah, however you want to call it, whatever it is to you, the divine and loving light. And I really stepped back and thought about that, because fear can create anxiety, and anxiety can lead to all kinds of things like eating disorders and not being able to sleep, and not being able to be gainfully employed, and not being able to have a satisfying relationship with the people around you, or even with a partner. And so there's many good reasons to deal with fear. And when I learned about that concept of fear being the absence of God in your life, I was like, wow, that really makes sense. Because if you're handing your life over to God, to the universe, if you're letting go, like they say, let go and let God, if you're letting go, you have nothing to be fearful about, because you're going to be carried. You're going to be captured when you fall. Your enemies, their weapons will not prosper against you. You will be protected even when you aren't aware that you need protection. And this has manifested in my life a lot of times. I can't tell you how many times I have evaded death. I mean, it's been a lot of times, more than probably most people. And how many times I've evaded catastrophic situations that would have really screwed up my life. And it was because of the divine working on my behalf. path. And so that is why it is so critically important for us to realize that we cannot be the ones in control all the time, because we are simply human. We are not divine in the way of the all-seeing, all-knowing level of being divine. We are divine beings, and we all seek to be divine. At least if you're on a spiritual path, you do. If you're not, then you have zero divine protection. So I found for myself that the best way to deal with fear is through prayer. Yes, the best way to eliminate fear is to realign yourself with the divine, to remind yourself through prayer, meditation, or other methods, such as taking a walk in nature, etc., that you are a divine being and there is a power source that is greater than yourself. And when we realize that we cannot control everything, and this is coming from a control freak, when you have PTSD or when you have something like obsessive compulsive disorder, like many people do, you want to control everything in your life. And when you're controlling everything in your life, you're not handing it over to the divine. So I'm going to invite you to try this and see if this might help you with dealing with your fear. Maybe you can't sleep. Say a prayer. Maybe you're worrying about your finances. Say a prayer. Maybe you're worried about your children. Say a prayer. Maybe you're worried about a job. Say a prayer. Visualize what it is that you want and use your free will to ask for that. And also use your free will to follow the order of things that will bring that into your life. So, with that said, peace. With that said, peace. With that said, peace. Love.